Hi guys, I'm gonna do a story time video for you all, and for the sake of people's privacies and for me not getting yelled at, I'm going to be using different names for these people who are going to be in my story, because I think you can tell by the title, if I did it correctly, it's about a person who I've known for many years, who's going through a hard time and kind of went psychotic. Now, this person he was married to my friend, who we're going to call her, let's just go with John and Jane Doe, okay? John and Jane Doe. Starts off with them on New Year's Eve, or maybe it was New Year's Day, I'm not entirely certain anymore, but he was with his wife at a party and he had to leave, not leave for good, but it's a small town, so he had to walk somewhere and he was just going to walk back. He was going to go get his mother from the church down the road and walk her back to her house, which all of this takes place within just a few blocks, because like I said, small town, everything's kind of around everything. Anyway, so he tells Jane, I'm gonna go take Mom home. She's at the church. Okay, she says, whatever. She's at her brother's house, and they're having a good old time because it's New Year's. And he leaves, and it takes him quite a while. After about an hour, she starts getting a little worried, you know, because he's been gone for quite a while. It's not that far, wouldn't have taken him that long, but it's whatever, you know. He tends to lollygag, and he is going to his mother's house where some of his siblings are at, so he might just be visiting. So about an hour and a half goes by from when he left, and he finally comes back, and he's a little gone from the alcohols, and she knows it, because, you know, he's one of those people who doesn't take alcohol very well. So Jane tells him, okay, she doesn't say this to him, but she thinks, I don't want him acting stupid around my family, so I'm going to take him home. She tells him, hey, John, let's go home and watch movies, you know, just whatever, let's leave. And he's okay, you know, he's fine with that. So they go home and they go cuddle in bed, nothing like that, you pervs. They're watching movies from bed, and I don't know what happened after that. Maybe he was messing with her or something. In what way, I don't know. I don't remember the details. But she's, you know, stop it, get off me, I'm going to go upstairs away from you, you're bothering me. He's, no, come back here, grabbing at her. No, I'm going to go upstairs. He kind of loses it a bit, because alcohol and because he's him, and he grabs her and choke slams her against the wall. Yeah. So, you know, Jane isn't a small girl, I'll say. She can handle herself, is what I'm getting at. And she calls John's sister to come get him because she's going to hurt him. She's not worried about him hurting her, even though he chokeslammed her against the wall. She could hurt him pretty easily. So, you know, that whole incident right there is why John and Jane decided, well, Jane decided she's gonna pack up her shit and move to her mother's. Sorry for the cursing, I know you're not used to that. But she moves to her mother's for quite a while, and she's going through a divorce right now. But just a few nights ago, I mean, there's been incidences where every time well, let me backtrack all the way back till almost January, February, whatever. Jane told him, you know, we're not really together anymore, but we're not divorced yet, and there's still hope, you know, maybe. Even though if it were me, there sure as hell wouldn't be. But John decides to go out and get himself a little girlfriend. And, you know, if he was 100% leaving Jane, that would have been fine. But he's all up in her business, trying to get back with her, telling her he still loves her and all this, and on the side he's got himself a girlfriend. I'm not gonna say her name, whatever, it's... Anyway, John's sister gets them all together and says, you need to decide between Jane and your girlfriend, your new girlfriend, and he picks Jane. And Jane's laughing on the inside, knowing that they're never actually going to be together. So, you know, he just kind of screwed himself there by picking her and not his girlfriend. So, that happened, and they were trying to be friends, is what Jane was trying to do. She didn't want to be back together with him, not right away at least. She wanted to be friends, and if something happened later, okay, whatever. Again, that's not something I would let happen, but she's not the brightest. So Jane wants to be friends, but they keep arguing about everything, and I'm there for some of it, and it is not pretty. It's not pretty at all. I don't know why she keeps going back there and putting up with him, but she did. She gives second, third, fourth, a million chances, but they just can't get along. So Jane, who has been out of the house, she's been with her mom for a while, she finally, a few months ago, gets her own apartment. And she doesn't tell John, she doesn't tell anybody where her new apartment is. But since John's a little bit psycho, he somehow found out. And Jane's getting on with her life, you know, getting a divorce. She's got herself a new boyfriend. It's been... how many months? It's been 8 months. 7, 8 months. I don't really remember. So, she's got herself a new man and all that. But before that, before she even got herself a new boyfriend, Psycho John's found out where she lives and was looking through her windows at her, trying to see, like, if it's her apartment. He somehow found out she was living in this, not in my apartment complex, but where she lives, her apartment complex. Knows she's there somewhere, so he's going through, looking through people's windows, trying to figure out which one is hers, and I think he found out because their bikes are on, like, she has a back patio area of her own, and her bikes, their bikes are back there, because they're married for, like, years. He knows what her stuff looks like, so. And one of her neighbors caught him looking through the window and was going to call the cops, which I think would have been the best case scenario. But she said, yeah, that's my ex. Just whatever, you know. And he's coming over, he's making excuses to come over, like, you owe me money from our taxes, because they, you know, they filed their taxes together because they're still technically married. And he's saying, oh, you have my stuff, you have my money, I want my money, you have my papers, my documents, and whatever. And she doesn't. None of that's his. She got rid of all his stuff. Didn't get rid of it, she gave it to him when she left. She had a storage unit and everything, she cleared out all her stuff and was in her new place. He keeps coming over. He was there when I was there once. Knocked on the door when he's not supposed to be there. Like, she now has a restraining order against him. And I wanted to punch him as soon as I saw him, because I knew who it was at the door when he knocked. I knew who it was. But Jane let him in. Like, what are you doing? Why would you do this? Why would you let him in? That's giving him, like, hope that, oh, I can come over whenever now, even though he's not supposed to be there in the first place. I don't understand people like that. Just keep giving chances to people who don't deserve them. After the 5 millionth time, let's back up a bit to when she was at her mother's house and still trying to be friends with him. But she was trying to move on with some other guy, and he knows. She didn't exactly keep it secret, and John kept threatening Jane. He's threatening to, I don't know. Well, one of them was slash her tires. Threatening to do all that, and threatening, oh, I'm going to get the lawyer, get my money back, stuff like that. So, fast forward back to very recently. She has a new boyfriend. She has a new man. But, of course, John likes peeking in her windows, even though he shouldn't. It's private property. If you don't live there, you shouldn't be there unless you're actually visiting someone. And I can guarantee you he was not invited. So she had her new boyfriend over at her house. They were sitting on the couch watching movies. They haven't done anything. Not yet, to my knowledge. Nothing biblical, to put it gently. They haven't done anything of that. But, you know, John is really possessive, really jealous, really off his rocker. He didn't even tell his family that him and Jane were getting a divorce, that they were separated. His family was somehow left in the dark, even though they should know from all the stuff that's been going on. They should have probably figured out that they weren't together anymore, because it had literally been months and months. And I know, without a doubt, John's sister at least knew, but she's one of those who loves drama and all that. I really hope I don't have to take this video down at some point, because they will stab you. And I haven't got that part yet. But anyway, he saw Jane and her new boyfriend on the couch, and I guess he knocked on the door. There he was, not supposed to be there, not supposed to be there anymore. And he freaked out, was like, oh, you have my bike, what are you, just freaking out. I don't know specifically what he said, because she's not good at details. She just gives me the overview. So, she's, whatever, loads up John and his bike, and takes him back to his mother's house, and tells him to never bother her again, once again. I wouldn't have done that much. I'd have said, okay, you want your bike, take it and walk your sorry butt back to your mother's. That's where you belong, with your mother for the rest of the time. But no, of course she had to give him a ride, giving him more hope that someday. Anyway, and she calls me because she accidentally locked herself out of her house, and I have a spare key to her house. I had to walk across town. We met like halfway, so she walked halfway, I walked a little bit, and then we both walked back at midnight to unlock her door after her new boyfriend left, because she accidentally locked herself out. That's not even part of what Psycho did. John did, sorry. So, we're gonna go up to a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, I don't remember exactly, it was a few weeks ago, when I was with Jane. And we just went to like the dollar store, and we got some Taco Bell, and everything was fine. Driving around, everything was normal. And we pulled up to her apartment, and we went inside, and she's paying me to help her clean, although she still hasn't paid me. Jane hasn't paid me yet for that. She's paying me to help her clean, so we were cleaning, swatting gnats, because oh my god, they're horrible. And I was there for quite a while, and we were, talking and everything. Kind of forgot about we did the cleaning, and we were just talking, and it was getting late, so she was like, okay, I'm going to take you home, because it's getting late, and she has to get up to go to work, and all that. So we get in the car, I think everything's fine, I'm just sitting there talking to her. We start backing up out of her parking space, and there's like a thump, thump, like, something ain't right with that car. And she's freaking out, like, what's going on? And she has a low tire, like the driver's side in the back is always low. She's always needing to fill it up. She just needs a new tire, I guess. So she checks that, and there's nothing wrong with it, like, other than it's a little bit low. It's not bad. But then she looks at the front tire, and it was like cartoonishly flat. to where it's rim on the ground and the tire's it's completely flat. Like, I almost laughed because it just looks like something from a cartoon with how flattened out it was on the ground. And she was like, oh my god, that's Psycho. Oh my god, he did this. It was John. It was definitely John. John Doe did this to me. And I'm like, okay. Trying to keep a level head. It's like, you don't know it was him. You did not see him do it. You can go to the police if you want, but you have absolutely no proof. We did not see him do this. And I told her, check for nails. Check for something you could have run over. And she checked. She was down on the ground with a flashlight because it was like 1 in the morning. Down on the ground with a flashlight, checking her tire. There's no nail. There's no sharp rock. There's nothing in it. So, at this point, she is 100% convinced that John did this. So, like I mentioned earlier, we live in a smallish town. It's not hard to walk places. If you're me, it is. Because God. But we walked to her mother's house from her apartment, which isn't too far. It's just short of my house. My house is like a few blocks away. We walked to her mother's house, and her mom has an extra car because her dad is out of town. So she gave her the keys to her dad's car, and she drove me home. Afterwards, she went driving around to see if she could find John walking around, you know. She was gonna confront him personally, but she didn't find him. But the next morning, she went and put a restraining order on him, and a no contact order is put into their divorce papers because, good God, she still hasn't turned them in. Like, she's got them filled out, she's got them ready to go, her mother's paying for them for her, but she still hasn't turned the damn things in. It just makes me so mad knowing she's just letting them sit there when she's got Psycho John trying, you know, literally he slashed her tires. And it turns out he's not the brightest guy. He never has been. He's literally a bit slow. I think that's fine. But he's going around telling people, actually bragging about what happened to Jane's tire. So it's pretty obvious it was him who did it because he's going around talking about it, knowing details. So yeah, he's always had a pocket knife. He's one of those guys who carries a pocket knife around with him all the time. Nothing bad about that. My dad carries one around with him all the time because you never know, you might need one. So he took his pocket knife and literally slashed her tire because she tried to take the Fix-A-Flat, the air stuff, and fill up her tire. And when she put it in, it just came right back out of a hole somewhere. So it was definitely slashed. And since he's not the smartest guy, he's bragging about it. The way it was worded was he wasn't bragging about doing it. He was just bragging, oh, it happened, you know, so her tire got slashed. But he didn't specifically say he did it, but he knew about it, so. And a few days before it happened, actually probably like the day before, they were at the park, not together, they didn't go there together, but they were just there at the same time together. Because they do have, you know, similar friends, because they were married for 3 years or something like that. And she's one to misplace her keys. Like I said earlier, she locked herself out of her apartment. So she left it on the picnic table, and John took them and tried to hide them in like a circuit box thingy, not in it, but like on it and under a wire. Like he tried to hide them up in there. But somebody else saw him messing with that box over there. So, you know, he's like, you know, are you sure John took them? Yeah, he does this. Go check that because he's messing with it. And there's her keys. He took her keys. Just another psychotic. This video has gone on long enough. Psycho John / Jane's tires. I am very mad about it. I'm not going to threaten him. I can't threaten people on the internet. But just so you know, that's what's going on in my little world. I hope you guys enjoyed this. It hasn't had an ending yet, because God knows what's going to happen next. So, I'm going to see you guys next time. I hope you enjoyed, and bye!